Because everybody sins, including Christians. The best of Christians sin. But here he's talking about sin as a lifestyle, practicing wickedness without repentance. John Murray puts it this way: it's one thing for sin to live in a Christian. It's another thing for a Christian to live in sin. And you see, it's the latter that's the concern of Paul here. He's speaking about a life that is committed to sin, this waywardness of life that's committed to sin, and yet judging others, looking down upon them, scorning them, condemning them, and doing exactly the same things. It's this hypocrisy he's concerned about. But it raises the question of what explains this? How did this happen? Where did his audience go wrong? And I think there are two explanations for this that are given, verses 3 through 4. And it's this, that they misjudged God, and they misjudged him in two ways. And the first way is that they were thinking too lightly of God's justice. Look at verse 3. Do you suppose, O man, you who judge those who practice such things and yet do them yourself, that you will escape the judgment of God? That judgment of God, his justice, that's a concern here, to think that you can practice sin and yet escape God's justice. It's not just arrogant, it's delusional. They're judging others. That's presumptuous. Practicing the same sins, that's hypocritical. But to minimize the seriousness of sin in light of the righteousness of God, all sin deserves God's wrath. It deserves his eternal punishment. But you see, what he's exposing, the extent of their sin, is seen in this spiritual hoax that they actually think that they are exempt from God's righteousness. They doesn't see somehow, or that they don't need to be concerned about that. But God's justice exposes everyone who practices wickedness, whether Jew or Gentile. That's a point he's making. It almost seems unbelievable that somebody could confess God, could confess this God, the true and the living God, and yet slight his righteousness. This is a terrible, terrible miscalculation. That's the first way they went wrong